Please remember that futures and options on futures trading involve substantial risk and is not a suitable investment for all types of investors. Past results are not necessarily indicative of future results. When I use the word I in this video, it refers to what I author in my weekly written reports. Prices shown on charts and quote bars are in real time and take into account all known activity up to this point in time. If you'd like to read more of this disclaimer, simply hit the pause key on your computer screen. Welcome, traders. I'm Boyd Baker, and thanks for tuning in to my futures and options update. Today is Thursday, July 23rd at about 3:30 p.m. We're going to talk about the grain markets. We had a very eventful grain summer so far here in the Midwest with a lot of moisture, and it's really impacted prices. Let's review a couple of these important markets. Some of these we've talked about in the past. We'll review what's happened here. Here's the December new crop corn, and you can see that we came down sharply. We're moving well into June here, into the lows here at about 350. Looks to me like we had a nice head and shoulders bottom here that formed. It got excessively wet here in June into July, and we took out these high prices here at 435, off to the races all the way up into new highs here at about 450. Saw about a $1 rally in December corn in short order in about 2 weeks. Now, it does look like some of the yields have been coming down in corn. That's because of the excessive moisture. The story is really Illinois, Indiana, and Ohio are the states that are big states. We'll probably see below average yields, while we see the western states such as Iowa, Nebraska, Minnesota, the Dakotas should see above normal. So overall, the crop is in fairly decent shape. It's 69% good to excellent this past week. We've had some milder weather set in, some drier weather, and you can see that this price has really come off here this past couple of days, anticipating this milder weather. In my opinion, it looks to me like this market can come back down and challenge this $4 area, maybe a little bit below it down into this $3.95, $4 range. We'll see what happens, but right now, momentum is coming down off of this sell signal. I wouldn't be surprised to see a challenge of this $4 level. We'll move into the wheat market, and the wheat market also had this big rally here in June, all the way up to 620. Wheat market's a little different story. The wheat crop out west looks like it's really coming through nicely. The hard red winter wheat is in harvest right now. We're seeing a pressure on prices coming down here. The wheat has plenty of supply of wheat, so I wouldn't be surprised to see wheat challenge these lows where we took off from down in this $5 area. You can see this uptrend that's in place here. So again, that's down into this $5 area. Stochastics are oversold, but again, the fundamental picture here on wheat is bearish, in my opinion, and again, I wouldn't be surprised to see a challenge of this $5 area coming up. Soybean market has been a very eventful trade, and boy, some real whipsaw prices here that we've seen here in the past couple of weeks. The soybeans had a $1.50 rally from these lows. Basically, you went from a sub $9, $8.95 low, almost to $10.50, as I think it's about a $10.43 high here that we saw the other day. And now prices are correcting on the milder weather. Again, the forecast, 8 to 15-day forecasts, are showing for milder temperatures. We're drying out in some of these areas that were in Ohio, Indiana, that were excessively wet. Missouri is still a very troublesome state there. We did lose acreage there. So there's pockets that are not so good in the soybeans. This market's a little bit more variable. Corn got planted early. We have a little better handle as far as the yields. The acreage here in beans could be off significantly, and the yield is somewhere in that 42, 44 bushels per acre. We'll see what happens, but wouldn't be surprised with this decent weather to see soybeans continue to retrace, maybe challenge this 960, 975 area. Again, you can see that we're still involved in a little bit of a sell signal here with the stochastics. So right now, a price high coming in here at the 1043 area. Again, wouldn't be surprised to see a challenge here of this 960, 970 area. We'll jump into the soybean meal, and this has been a market which really has had very good demand and has kept prices very strong here. But what we're noticing here is a very strong sell signal that just came about from this. To me, like this market might finally be in an area where we could say that a top is in place. Now, the demand for meal has always been there. Looks to me like if we can close below these lows, we can work prices down into this 310, 320 area. So the soybean meal is a market which may be getting going to the downside, could cut a little bit deeper, again, particularly if the weather holds up and it is not very hot as we finish out the rest of the growing season. So this is a midsummer update. Certainly the weather can and will change, no doubt. I'll come back to you here in another week or so with an update. But if you have any questions on any of these markets, feel free to call me here at 866-973-2079.